Nsigile konoro filiro Mali beti ye konoro fili bebongono metanga shereke sport metamizenga maligani na bubu
Malibet ko baka client bɛɛ lajɛlen ladonnaya ko k'a fɔ ka bɛn ni sariya kura tali ye sariya numéro 56 min tara décembre kalo tile 18 san 2025 ko jamana bɛna kɛmɛ sara la bɛna dɔrɔmɛ 10 ta aw ka sɔrɔta kan na an b'a wele ko gain wa ni sariya in ale bɛna waleya ka bɛn février kalo tile fɔlɔ ma san 2026 ni aw mago bɛ walawalali wɛrɛw la a bɛ se ka Malibet service client wele o 44 98 28 44 avec Malibet encore plus fort.
Responsable ou conseiller, l'autorité qui conseille, siège gardien conseiller.
The Minister of Justice and Human Rights, Keeper of the Seals, Mr. Mamadou Kassogi, presided over the launch of the 4th edition of Justice Week last Monday. The details in this program. The President of the Transition, His Excellency General Assimi Goïta, Head of the State, received the diplomatic corps accredited in the Republic of Mali last Tuesday at the Kouliba Palace for the traditional New Year's greetings ceremony, the rest in this edition. At the international level, the 62nd edition of the Munich Security Conference took place from 13th to 15th of February 2026 in Munich, Germany, where world leaders, ministers, policymakers and experts discussed about international security challenges. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to English World News from Maliba TV 1, the web of reference. First of all, I apologize for my absence during the last editions due to my marriage in university. I thank you for your good comprehension. The Minister of Justice and Human Rights, Keeper of the Seals, Mr. Mamadou Kassogi, presided over the launch of the 4th edition of the Justice Week on Monday, the 9th of February 2026 at the Bamako International Conference Center, CICB. This major event brought together several members of the government, technical and financial partners, as well as judicial actors, and numerous other prominent figures, demonstrating the importance placed on justice. The theme of this edition, which took place from the 9th to 14th of February, was justice in the area of implementing and capitalizing on reforms. Institutionalized in 2022 by the transitional government at the suggestion of the Minister of Justice, Justice Week aims to bring together closer to the people and promote a more effective public justice service in order to restore public confidence in this institution. In its opening address, the Minister recalled that Justice Week is an initiative that has demonstrated that justice is no longer a silent service, emphasizing the importance of transparency and accessibility. He also stated that legal professionals are ill-advised to lecture and pronounce judgments against citizens if they themselves are the first to blatantly break the law. This week was marked by several activities, including the first session of the Criminal Chamber of the Bamako Court of Appeal, a conference on the theme Professional Orders and Justice Reforms, the inaugural digital issuance of criminal records and nationality certificates on the e-justice platform, the Minister's visit to a reception and accommodation center for victims and human trafficking, a friendly match between the press and the justice system, according to the Ministry of Justice. The President of the Transition, His Excellency General of Army Assimi Goïta, Head of the State, received the diplomatic corps accredited in the Republic of Mali on Tuesday, the 10th of February 2026 at the Kouliba Palace for the traditional New Year's greetings ceremony. During the meeting, President Goïta reaffirmed the foundations and orientations of Malian diplomacy in an international context marked by profound changes. Speaking after the address by the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Mr. Igor Anatolievich Gromyko, Ambassador of the Russian Federation in Mali, expressed to the head of the state his gratitude for the greetings extended on behalf of all the diplomatic missions, while also offering wishes for peace, prosperity and success to the authorities and peoples of the countries represented. In its address, the President of the Transition declared 2026 the year of dialogue, cooperation and mutual respect. He reiterated Mali's commitment to sovereignty and freedom in its strategic choices while affirming its desire to maintain responsible relations. He welcomed the strengthening of political dialogue and the granting of diplomatic accreditations. The Head of State also congratulated the progress made in security, aimed at restoring the states and basic social services. The President of the Transition highlighted the Confederation of the Alliance of Sahel States as a response to security and development challenges, while also addressing the fight against disinformation. Domestically, he reiterated the ongoing process of state reform and announced that 2026-2027 had been declared the year of education and culture, with the aim of promoting the country's human capital and cultural heritage. At the economic level, he affirmed Mali's commitment to promoting homegrown solutions, energy sovereignty and investment that create jobs and transfer skills. President Assimi Goïta reiterated Mali's adherence to the principle of the UN Charter, such as the territorial integrity of states, non-interference and a peaceful settlement of disputes, while also commending the commitment of international partners to rebuild their relations on the basis of mutual respect. On behalf of the diplomatic corps, the ambassador of the Russian Federation thanked the President for his hospitality and reaffirmed the support of Mali's partners for stability, peace and development. He welcomed the progress made in national sovereignty, the fight against terrorism and regional integration within the ASS. The Head of State reiterated his commitment to pursuing with Mali's partners and friends a process of rebuilding oriented toward peace, stability, and shared progress according to the Presidency of Mali. The President of the National Transitional Council, the Honorable Malik Diaw, granted a formal audience on Thursday, the 12th of February 2026, to the new traditional chief of the Nyakati Nyari, Mr. Titi Nyari. This meeting, held under the banner of national cohesion, marked the Patriarch's first official outing since its enthronement. The audience between the new head of the founding families of Bamako and the President of the National Transitional Council brought together a delegation to support the transitional institutions. The discussion emphasized the role of traditional authorities and aimed to support the National Transitional Council, stressing the importance of peace and dialogue. The President of the National Transitional Council expressed its profound satisfaction with his visit, seeing it as a strong signal of recognition of the institution's legislative role by the customary authorities. The Honorable Malik Diaw reiterated the National Transitional Council's unwavering commitment to collaborating with the nation's vital and traditional forces. He specified that the parliamentary institution remains an open space for consultation, essential for the proper accomplishment of the missions of the transition. The meeting concluded with an official photograph symbolizing the union between institutional legitimacy and traditional authority, according to the Communications Department of the NTC. His Excellency Mr. Abdoul, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, General Ismail Wagi, Minister of State, Minister of Reconciliation, Peace and National Cohesion, and the Resident Coordinator of the United Nations System in Mali, co-chair on Thursday, the 12th of February 2026, the National Steering Committee for Peace-Building Investment Mechanism in Mali. Also were present the Charge of Affairs of Canada, representing the technical and financial partners, the representative of UN Women, the representative of the United Nations Population Fund, and the representative of civil society, members of the committee. During his address, Minister Diop emphasized the importance of aligning projects with national priorities while commanding the Malian government's leadership in peace building. The resident coordinator commanded the Malian government's leadership in peace building, a strategic national priority. She emphasized that Mali's peace building governance process is one of the most sophisticated, structured, and inclusive. Minister Wage welcomed the support and partners the support of partners and express its satisfaction with the progress of the projects. The steering committee recommended intensifying interventions to improve living conditions for the population, according to the Information and Press Office of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. At the international level, Burkina Faso Foreign Minister Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré met with the Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on the 12th of February 2026 in Moscow, where the two ministers signed an agreement on the foundations of bilateral relations, thus strengthening cooperation between the two countries. The two officials discussed the fight against terrorism, security and military cooperation. Russia reaffirmed its support for Burkina Faso in the fight against armed groups and announced an increase in the number of Russian military structures deployed in Burkina Faso. The Russian Foreign Minister particularly emphasized the military partnership between the two countries, describing it as a model for other nations. This working visit scheduled for the 12th to 14th of February 2026 took place against a backdrop of accelerated rapprochement between Ouagadougou and Moscow as Russia pursues the massive diplomatic deployment toward the African continent. The two ministers also discussed cooperation in the areas of energy, agriculture, and education. Russia offered its support for the development of civilian nuclear energy in Burkina Faso. Moscow also announced the planned launch in 2026 of an intergovernmental commission dedicated to trade and economic cooperation with the Russian co-chairmanship of Energy Minister Sergei Tsivilev. The two ministers agreed to strengthen media cooperation to combat disinformation more effectively, according to Malijet. The 62nd edition of the Munich Security Conference took place from the 13th to 15th of February 2026 in Munich in Germany. It's an annual forum that brings together world leaders, ministers, policymakers, and experts to discuss international security challenges. Termed under destruction, this edition highlighted the erosion of a post-World War II international order. During the conference, several topics were discussed, including European security and transatlantic cooperation, the war in Ukraine and relations with Russia, international security and the fight against terrorism, and cybersecurity and defense issues. Head of state and government, including French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, foreign and defense ministers, experts, and opinion leaders around the world, as well as a record delegation from the United States and international organizations, UN, NATO, European Union, World Bank, participated in this conference. The conference is organized by the Munich Security Conference Foundation, a private organization that aims to promote international cooperation and global security. The event is considered as one of the most important forums of discussion for international security. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. and Europe belong together during his remarks at the Munich Security Conference. The tone of his speech stood in stark contrast to one delivered last year at the summit by U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Rubio also made clear that the Trump administration believes the path toward requires a shift in how the U.S.-European alliance works together, adding, "We want allies who can defend themselves. No adversary will feel inclined to challenge our collective strength," according to CNN. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of English World News from Maliba TV, the web of reference. I thank you for joining me. God bless, protect, and assist you forever. You have all my respect and all my considerations. See you next time.